Do you often wake up in the middle of the night, then struggle to get back to sleep? That's what I want to talk about today in this video. I want to explain what is happening while you're waking up and then what you can do about it in order to go back to sleep quickly. Because it's quite normal actually to wake up through the night. It's just that most of us don't notice that we do until we become poor sleepers. And then we wake up and we think there's something wrong when it's just our body doing what it is biologically wired to do, which is switch from one sleep cycle to the next. So I'm going to explain that in today's video. If you don't know me, my name is Carol Richard. I am the founder of the Sleep Success Academy and now the creator of the Better Sleep community. So I want to let you know that we are about to start the next round of the Better Sleep community. If you stay to the end of this video, I'll tell you more about how to register and what are going to be the benefits of you joining the Better Sleep community. So let's talk about sleep cycles, because a big part of us creating better sleep for ourselves naturally is to actually educate ourselves on what is happening with our sleep. But we don't want to overeducate, if that makes any sense. Sometimes we are grasping for ways to fix our sleep, and this grasping, this energy of like, oh, I need to sleep so bad, this longing for sleep makes it that we overeducate ourselves and then we get confused because there is so much information out there. But one piece of information that I believe is crucial for everybody to know is that we sleep in sleep cycles. And once we understand this, we'll understand why we wake up in the middle of the night. So, all of us, every single human being, will sleep through a sleep cycle. So, a sleep cycle roughly lasts about 90 minutes. In this 90 minutes, we go through sleep stages. So we'll start with stage one, which is where we're just falling asleep. So we're still kind of awake. We're in between awake and asleep. That's usually where I would say the sleepy feeling comes. Then we're going to have stage two, which is a light sleep, where we can wake up easily from this stage. And then we'll have stage three, four, they're combined. I don't know why. That's what all the sleep book says. So they're combined. And this is where we get our deep sleep. Deep sleep is where our physical body restores itself. So this is like awesome sleep for our body. Actually, the first sleep cycle we go through when we hit the deep sleep is where the biggest spurt of growth hormones are released in your body. So it's awesome in that first sleep cycle. Things to start rewiring your brain here. Tell yourself, wow, I just had this big spurt of growth hormone. So if there's something wrong physically with my body, that's where it's healing and regenerating itself. And then the last stage is the REM sleep, which is where we dream, where our sleep is lighter, but it's also where our mental restoration happens. So in REM sleep is where actually our memories are being created. I like to think of the REM sleep because I'm a very visual person. And on our computers where we can defragment the computer so that we're reorganizing the files. We used to do that like 20, 30 years ago. I don't know if we still do that on our computers, but I remember, well, I don't anyway, but I remember like when we first had computers that we used to have to defragment them, or I did. Somebody told me to. And you could see the files putting themselves in order so then your computer would work better. It's the same when REM sleep happens in my mind, is that my memories are being stored and things are moving in my brain. And at the same time, there's this other process that like toxins are removed from your brain during this state. So it's pretty cool information. That part you don't need to know because you just need to know that a sleep cycle is 90 minutes and we go through these stages. What happens though when we switch from one stage to the next, we have that minute or two where we kind of wake up because we're going back into stage one to start another sleep cycle. And it's in that moment that we sometimes wake up. Not always. My husband, who is a very good sleeper, would say that he doesn't really wake up through the night. If he wakes up, he's just waking up to use the washroom back in bed. But it is in between that sleep cycle. He's just, because he's a good sleeper, he's not aware of it. I wake up more through the night. I'm a lighter sleeper and I sleep very well, but I notice when I wake up through my sleep cycles. And the mindset that I had before was that once I wake up, I'm screwed. There was dread showing up as the emotion. Someone recently sent me a message that said they feel knot in the pit of their stomach when they wake up through the night. She says it can happen 5 times or it can happen 2 or 3 times. So you see, every time she's waking up through a sleep cycle, this knot in the pit of her stomach is happening. And that's where our nervous system is reacting or activating in that wake up moment because we're wanting sleep and all of a sudden we're awake and we don't know what to do to get back to sleep. So that's an explanation of what happens and why we wake up. Now, what can we do about it? It's not an easy quick fix. I wish it was, but it might be. I'm going to say it might be because if you know how to use tapping, you could start using tapping right in that moment and calm your nervous system enough to be able to get back to sleep. But most of us don't know that and we can't get there right away. And so this is what I teach in the Better Sleep community. We learn how to reset our nervous system. Reset's not quite the right word, but bring in regulation to our nervous system. We learn how to use tapping, which is the most amazing tool that I can teach you on how to hold the truth of what is happening in the middle of the night. So this is something you can do in the middle of the night or you can do during the day, remembering the middle of the night. Because our brain is so amazing. It doesn't know the difference between real or imagined. So we can do this work during the day to release that fear, that anxiety, that dread that happens in the middle of the night. And no, one round of tapping is not going to fix and cure this forever, but it is a tool for you to use. Because what we want is we want you to be able to wake up through the night, recognize that it's normal, and then get yourself back to sleep. And another part of education that is important to know, because a lot of people will say, well, I can sleep good for 4 or 5 hours, and then I wake up and then I can't get back to sleep. That's because our sleep is lighter towards the end of the night. So at the beginning of the night, we have more of that deep sleep where we're just, I'm going to call it heavier because that's kind of the image that came, like we're heavier in our bed. We're having all this physical restoration happen. We do have some REM sleep at the beginning of the night, but not as much. But as we've done a few sleep cycles and we get towards the last few sleep cycles of the night, we have more REM sleep. We have more mental restoration and we have more dreams and there's more kind of thinking going on. It's easier to wake up. So when we do, we're like, oh, I'm doomed. Instead of saying, oh, I'm now getting the mental restoration, which means my brain is going to work so good tomorrow. And that's what I want to teach you in the Better Sleep community is how can we reframe or reword what we're feeling so that it feels better, so that we can get ourselves back to sleep without getting too activated to then not be able to go back to sleep. So ways to make this happen. First of all, education. I give you a little bit here. Second way is to figure out what you're thinking about when you wake up because you can be thinking about your lack of sleep, or you might have been thinking about the stress you're going to have the next day or something that happened in the past. What is that actual thing that woke you up? Are you thinking about the bills that you need to pay? Are you thinking about something somebody said? Are you thinking about the fact that now you're doomed? So we need to figure out what that is. Sometimes I'll actually say, get up and go write it down and then go back to bed because in the morning you won't remember what it was and you're back to square one trying to figure out why you woke up. But if you have that information, from that information, then we can start using tapping with the holding the truth technique. And then we can clear that or create boundaries around that or make some changes in our daily lives to reduce that stress. And then we don't wake up through the night. I hope that makes sense. What can you do if you do wake up through the night? So you have access to my 3 tapping meditations. I have one for waking up through the night where we do some rant tapping, which is just really naming what's happening and tapping through it. Some people will say, well, I don't want to do that because I don't want to get activated too much. I'll always remember the day that one of the members of the Better Sleep community says, well, I don't want to get out of bed so that I don't wake up. And then she went, oh, well, wait a minute. I'm already awake. I'm in bed, tossing and turning and creating that negative sleep association with my bed. And as much as it sucks to get out of bed to go do this tapping on the couch, we want to now create a new association with the bed. That bed is a place to sleep, to be calm, to be quiet, and to let our body regenerate while we're sleeping. So that's why we get out of bed to go do this tapping on the couch. And you're going to do that more than once, maybe. But when you do it consistently and you're rewiring, retraining your brain and your body to sleep in bed as opposed to lay there and worry, then, this same member started doing that. And then one day she came back on the call and said, I slept the whole 8 hours in a row without waking up. And I've never done that. Even when I was a good sleeper in the past, I always woke up once or twice. And I just had an experience of like sleeping solid for 8 hours. Right? You see what I mean? It takes work, but it's without medication, it's without complicated bedtime rituals. It is learning the state of our nervous system and it's understanding what is happening below the level of consciousness. And with this education, then we can apply the proper tools, resources, techniques in order to create that natural sleep. And this is where I invite you to join the Better Sleep community, because that's exactly what I will teach you and guide you through in that program. So this will be the fourth time that I run this program. I love it. What I did not know would happen is not just the success people are having, but how it's building a community, how people are coming together and understanding that they're not alone. Because when we're sleep deprived, we feel so alone, especially when everybody we know are good sleepers. Or we get together with our friends that are bad sleepers, and all we do is like complain about it without any real solutions. Well, the Better Sleep community will offer you those solutions. And maybe then you can bring those solutions to your friends. So when you have a conversation, instead of complaining about it, you can actually help each other and set goals for your sleep. So the link is in the description below. You can sign up today. Registration is open. And once you do, you will get access to two programs. So you'll get access to Tapping 101, which is where I'm going to teach you how to tap specifically for your sleep issues. And the technique that I like to use the most is holding the truth technique. So that's the beginning of tapping, but there's so much more to that. And we learn that as we go through the program in the 12 weeks on the call. The second program you're going to have access to is the Better Sleep community itself. So as you register, you go in there, you'll see that there's a welcome video there already. There's already some exercise thinking for you to do. I want you to write down your current sleep story, not so that we can kind of get caught up in what's going wrong with our sleep, but so that in 12 weeks, you can go back and read that story and go, man, I've gained this, I've improved in this, I've been able to manage sleep 2 or 3 times a week as opposed to none. And then we can focus on our gains. And then we know what you need to do when you come back, because the other thing I did with the Better Sleep community is that you pay once and you get to come back as many times as you need in order to really create and solidify that good sleep for yourself. If you haven't slept for like 10, 15 years or 5 years or 2 years, let's be realistic. 12 weeks is not enough to create that natural biological sleep for yourself. There's some learning to do, there's some rewiring to do, there's changing our habits, there's looking at our mindset. And so some people are coming back for the fourth time. I've had people from the beginning that are sleeping well, but they just want to continue with the group and learn more and really integrate the material in their everyday life because they know their sleep can get even better. I'm proof of it, they're proof of it. So that is why I want to invite you to join us and get ready to sleep better. And then the last curious question: once you're sleeping better, say 20, 30, 40% more than what you're sleeping, how is your life going to be different? What are you going to put back in your life that you've been struggling with? Like maybe it's meeting friends, maybe it's more time with your family, maybe it's just feeling more energy, feeling more human as opposed to this exhausted being that's walking around like a zombie. What is it for you that is going to be better in your life once you achieve better sleep? And if you're ready, join us because I know that's possible for you.